Pecked to death by chickens is not how I thought this would end.
Day 13, I think. Sounds about right. Last night I was reading a passage about the Pennine Way that said if the Pennine Way is a rose bush, then the section from Alston to Greenhead is the thorn. Not that it's difficult, but apparently that it's uninspiring and quite drab. Well, let's see. Hopefully the old legs hold up today.
By the time I left Alston, my feet were really starting to complain, but I was still holding in there. Thankfully, the sunshine and a couple of welcoming pub stops kept my spirits high. As I drew closer to Hadrian's Wall, I found myself constantly thinking about the Roman Empire, as you do. This wasn't the heart of Rome, but its frontier, the very edge of a civilization that once ruled much of the known world. Despite the aches and fatigue, I was genuinely excited, knowing that with every step I was getting closer to one of Britain's most iconic historical landmarks. Well, I guess the book I read was wrong. The lying sons of bitches. According to them, this was supposed to be one of the most dull days, but for most of the day, it was actually rather lovely. I followed winding rivers, wandered through pleasant green valleys, and listened to history podcasts to pass the time. Pirates, mainly. Why pirates? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps after days of walking, my brain had simply decided that maritime crime was the topic of the day. Plus, most of them were English. The miles drifted by easily enough, and I began to suspect the book's author had either exaggerated dramatically or had some sort of personal vendetta against this section. Unfortunately, as I would soon discover, the trail had merely been lulling me into a false sense of security before delivering a rather unpleasant surprise in the final few kilometres.
Yet another soggy moor. Feet are holding up somewhat okay today. A little bit hungry, but I'm making good time, so I don't want to stop. Or rather, I'll stop when I'm actually in a lot of pain. I think I've got about 11 kilometres left for the day before I get to Greenhead, where I'm staying at a hostel. I was originally going to camp, but I just wanted a bit of luxury and warmth and just put my feet up. In fact, probably won't be camping until the last day, or the last night. Oh, this isn't creepy at all. Can I let me pass without attacking me? Very strange. Crossing some of these moors is literally just walking on grass and hoping that you're following the correct distance direction. There is a little bit of a path here.
I'm not gonna lie, today was pretty tough. I walked 28 kilometers. The first 20 kilometers was fine. It was the last 7 which were an absolute bitch, just boggy, ankle destroying hell. And I finally got some blisters. Yay. I seem to be alone at the moment in my hostel. Glad that I did book a hostel, and I'm going to limp over to the restaurant across the road for dinner. Should be joyous, should be delicious, hopefully.
Day 14, and I've hit Hadrian's Wall. Not just yet. This wall castle. Looks like it needs a bit of a repair.
I limped into Greenhead the night before, cold, blistered, and with shoes so saturated they squelched with every step. The silver lining was that I had the hostel entirely to myself, which meant a hot shower and a rare bit of peace and quiet. Unfortunately, while hot water can work wonders for morale, it does very little for aching knees and battered feet. In all my years of hiking, I'd never experienced this kind of pain in my knees or along the side of my feet. It was the sort of discomfort that makes you question your life choices somewhere around 3 in the morning. But there was one problem. Hadrian's Wall was waiting, and it's difficult to feel sorry for yourself for too long when one of the most famous landmarks in Britain is just up the trail. Despite there being only 10 kilometres between Greenhead and Once Brood, I was in a miserable state. Every few hundred metres I had to stop and rest my feet, and each step felt worse than the last. I was in agony, and no amount of ibuprofen was going to fix it. Not even the ice cream that I found in a little van. For the first time on the trail, I began to wonder if this was the end of the road. Not atop some wind-swept mountain in a blaze of glory, but 10 kilometres from a place called Once Brood. A rather undignified ending if ever there was one. It hurts just to stand. It was here that I finally got my answer. A storm was on its way. Storm Floris, which sounded more like someone who bakes scones than a force of nature. Yet somehow it still managed to hurl a plastic gazebo past my window. I took that as a sign. Between the weather and the state of my feet, I decided to stop hiking, head into Newcastle, and give myself a full day to recover. But that recovery day soon became two. I caught a bus to Bellingham, wrote some postcards home, and waited another night because my feet had officially gone on strike. By then, hobbling was less a style of walking and more a survival technique. Yet as I crossed into Scotland, a strange sense of peace found me. I knew I wasn't going to finish the Pennine Way this time. And that was okay. The trail wasn't going anywhere. One day I'd be back to finish it. For now, I chose to celebrate how far I'd come rather than dwell on the miles that remained.
Well, it wasn't the way I wanted to end it, but at least I got a big pile of smelly shoes. Adding my stick. To the pile.
The Pennine Way isn't just a walk across England. It's a journey through its history, its landscapes, and the people who call it home. As someone from the other side of the world, there was something profoundly special about walking the breadth of a country that isn't my own. Sharing conversations with salt-of-the-earth people I met along the way, and tracing paths once walked by Romans, drovers, miners and pilgrims. It made Britain feel less like a place I'd travelled to and more like somewhere I'd briefly belonged. The Pennine Way is hard. It will test your legs, your patience, and occasionally your ability to put socks on without making strange noises. But if you let it, it'll also reward you with moments of quiet beauty, unexpected kindness, and a connection to the land that's difficult to put into words. Will it be my favourite long-distance hike? Probably not. There are other trails I'd choose before doing it again, but that doesn't matter. The Pennine Way will always hold a special place in my heart because it was the trail that took me halfway around the world to discover not just what makes Britain special, but what I was capable of too. And that's the funny thing about adventure. Sometimes you don't finish the trail, but the trail still finishes something in you.